Well, I was helped immensely by Billy and his faith in me and his faith in the material. You know, so much of the time when you are taking a play and you're turning it into a film, and it's not a natural transition. Plays really shouldn't become movies. They don't make for very good movies. You really should try to avoid that if you can. And one of the reasons is because you're always just, well, why don't we move this movie outside? Because it's a movie, and movies move, and they have to move. But movies can do a lot of different things. Movies can, a lot of movies can live in the eyes and the minds of the character, the dialogue they speak, the feelings they have for each other. Sometimes movies are not about what's going on scenically or cinematographically. So what I really benefited from was Billy's trust in the material. Billy trusted that the material itself would hold an audience without having to take it outside or put them on horseback or some nonsense. So, and I have to say, to this day, I don't think I've dealt with a person in the movie business as a writer who's dealt with me more respectfully. And that's not just me, by the way. I mean, that I've known other writers who've worked with Billy, and they all say the same thing. He's deeply respectful of the writer and the writer's process. They're kind of heroes to Billy, and so I just give it up to him. He's a good one.
Let me follow on that then, because there were some other questions in here, and I don't want to ask those specific, but do you think anybody else could have directed this?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did Billy do?
Billy did great. You know, I look at both the films of Bug and Killer Joe, and to me they look like Bill Friedkin movies. I don't think of them as Tracy Let's Plays. You know, we're in rehearsal for Bug right now at Steppenwolf, and I just came from rehearsal earlier today, which is weird because I haven't looked at this play in over 20 years. So it's weird to come from that rehearsal in here. The experience of watching a play is very different than the experience of watching a film. They're just not the same. You can't sit in a play and watch Michael Shannon do this while you're eating popcorn. You can't do it. But you can do that in a film, because the relationship between the screen and the audience is very different than the relationship in live performers in an audience. So they're never going to be the same. To me, those movies, both of this movie and Killer Joe look to me like William Friedkin movies. They focus on the things Billy is interested in. They focus, the focus of those films. Billy himself is a guy with a lot of interests and obsessions and a weird, sick sense of humor, and yet a great humanist, I think. And so the movies focus on what Billy's interested in, and so they're very much Billy's movies.
Thank you. All right, Michael. You're primarily known for dramatic roles, but yet you've also exhibited incredible comedic timing in such movies as Knives Out and The Night Before. Do you want to do more comedy? This is from Isaac.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a frustrating answer, but to me, they're not so separate, really. I mean, I find a lot of, like for example, Tracy's writing, whether it's Killer Joe or Bug, or pretty much anything Tracy writes, is an extraordinary combination of comedy and drama. Same thing with Revolutionary Road. When I did that, I was like, this is very funny. These scenes are very funny. What this guy is saying is very funny. Same with the majority of things that happen on Boardwalk Empire. I mean, the guys, when they were writing and directing Boardwalk Empire, particularly towards the end, it was like they were making like the Three Stooges. That's the way they looked at it. It was like, what funny shit can we do to him, and then he'll have to act funny, and we'll laugh while we're editing it. And then everybody comes up and goes, oh, it's so intense. I'm like, well, okay. That's not what they thought when they were doing it, but I'm glad you thought so. So, I mean, like, Tracy and I, this is another little piece of trivia. We used to be in an improv group here in Chicago called Bang Bang, Spontaneous Theater. We used to do it every Wednesday night up at the No Exit Cafe.
For years, for a lot of years.
In Rogers Park. It actually, there was the whole rise and fall of Bang Bang. We do it at No Exit, but then we started doing it at Famous Door, if anybody remembers what that was. And then we did it at Remains. And at one point, Bang Bang seemed like there were like 100 people in Bang Bang. We had a guy from the Bob Newhart show in Bang Bang. And then it just kind of dwindled away to dust, as things do. But anyway, yeah, I don't really look at it like a fork in the road so much, you know? I find comedy in everything.
All right, I want to.
Before we get to the next question, I have another fun, it just occurred to me as you were telling the story. So this movie went to the Cannes Film Festival. And Mike and I, because we hadn't had a lot of experience in the movie business, we wanted to go. We wanted to go to the Cannes Film Festival, but the studio had no interest in sending me and Mike to Cannes. So we just went. And we didn't realize you can't do that because you need a place to stay. It's actually really hard to find a place to stay in Cannes. So we got ourselves to London. We have friends in London. We flew to London, actually to stay with the person who originally asked us to do this. And we got to London and we said to her, we said, well, we're just going to go to Cannes and we're going to sleep on the beach. You know, it's May, it's south of France, it'll be all right, we're just going to sleep on the beach. And she said, no, you can't sleep on the beach. So she had a friend who was screening a movie, an X-rated film at Cannes, and she said she's staying in a nice villa, she thinks she can put you guys up. So we went to Cannes, and we wound up staying in this ridiculous place. It was an extraordinary, I mean, this place looked down on Elton John's villa.
Yeah. I felt like we were like in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. But also another funny thing about that is I remember that my flight to Cannes was late. So I literally walked in to the premiere of Bug as it was ending. I walked in, the credits were rolling, and the next thing I knew there was a spotlight in my face, and everybody was clapping, and Billy was like, get over here. Sorry.
Did you know that dude, Gaspard Noé, was actually staying in the villa while we were there? He was.
Well, I Stand Alone in this very theater. Did you? I was like, who the hell is that guy?
He was at the villa and he had some strange hangers on with him.
Sure.
I didn't go near that dude.
No.
I don't know if there's anything to follow up with that. I think we should end on that note. So can we have a round of applause?
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming out. It's very moving to see you all here. Thank you.